I made a video about why I attract narcissists. And I will tell you that over the past 8 months, I've realized why I attract narcissists. I've been in 3 different types of therapy to figure this out and really nail why I attract narcissists, so you can figure out, stop playing the victim yourself and figure out why you attract narcissistic men and why you keep repeating this pattern. So my father is narcissistic and my mother is his enabler, okay? My father is mean, so I chase men that are mean. Yes, in the beginning they're nice, they're charismatic, and then they are mean, and I want them to be nice to me, right? I want them to go back to being a nice man, like my father, who is mean, who I want him to be nice to me, okay? He was not affectionate and loving to me, so I think that this is normal. So when I have a man that is not affectionate and nice to me, I think it is normal for me to stay in this relationship and for me to say and sacrifice myself, self-abandon myself to struggle in the relationship and allow him to overrule my boundaries, because this is what I seen my mother and my grandmother do in relationships my entire life. Okay? No, I do not like it, but it is familiar to me because that is what was portrayed to me for the 36 years of my life. Okay? Yes, I did cognizant, like I didn't like to be around my father. I would not want to be like my mother, but subconsciously I would choose these things, and then I would subconsciously start playing the role of my mother because this was what was mimicked to me. So I didn't really know how to be another type of woman. Obviously I wanted to get out of these relationships, and I did, but I would repeat the pattern because it was natural to me, right? And then when things would start to shift, I would slowly start shifting into my mother and then try to dial it back and not be that person again, right? And then obviously if you ever try to start a boundary with a narcissist, they will blow the boundary into shreds. They do not fuck with boundaries at all. Okay, so then you have to you have to just basically find your exit, and you have to do it very calculated because they are very temperamental. Okay, so I am attracted to and I attract narcissists because of how I was raised. I was raised in that environment, so I am used to it. I'm familiar with it. And then I start, becoming an enabler. I hold an emotional space for men that have low emotional intelligence, okay? Because my mother did it, and we learned how to do it for our partners because we had to do it for our father as children, okay? We watched our mother do it. We watched our grandmother do it for our grandfather. My mom watched my grandmother do it, so she didn't really know either. I'm cognizant of it, right? So, I can victim blame. I can be the victim, right? And blame him, which I don't know if he's cognizant of what he's doing either. But I realized I cannot repeat this pattern anymore, okay? I knew going into the relationship was no good. So I have to change myself. Now, this is a pattern that's going to be difficult to break, just like breaking my 9-to-5 mindset, growing up in a blue-collar home, going to work every day mindset type thing. But yes, it's my fault. And I have to take full responsibility for that, so that I can learn not to go 90% and let them go 10. So I can stop overcompensating when he stops doing what he needs to do in the relationship. When I set a boundary and he destroys it, right? That's not the relationship that I want. But I seen my mom completely self-abandon herself my entire life. So even though that's not something people look from the outside and say, you're such a strong woman, why would you do that? They think that from the outside, but I've seen that my entire life. I became hyper independent because I low-key do not want the control of a man over me because of that. Literally because of that. Because I don't want to self-abandon, right? Because I don't want to self-abandon because I need to rely on a man financially, but I still end up doing it. It's actually kind of crazy, right? Being aware is the first step, okay? But like I said, I'm in 3 different types of therapy, so we can work on this. Yes, I'm attracted to narcissists because of how I grew up in the dynamic that I grew up in. I have a 2-parent household, because a lot of people that have 2-parent households think that they are, you know, they're good. Because I thought that too, because most people that I grew up with didn't have a 2-parent household. So I was like, oh, I'm good. At least I got a 2-parent household. No, my dad is a huge narcissist. Okay, and now obviously he did the best with what he could too. You know, they grew up in a different time period. They didn't deal with their traumas. He's 74.